guys, this is going to be another pregnancy update. This is going to be from weeks 19 to 21. I am 22 weeks this week. So I had to move to the floor because my round ligament pain is so bad, and I'll get to that in a minute, of why I'm not sitting like up on my birth ball like I normally am. So week 19, I think I started getting Braxton Hicks. And I say I think because they weren't like how I heard they would be. Granted, like, I know everyone is like different and all that stuff, so they weren't like, if you look it up, typically they're described as like a tightening feeling, but not like painful, like in your uterus. Did not feel like that at all. It literally just felt like a mild like PMS cramp. Like, I would always get cramps before my actual period was here. So that's what it felt like. And I was like, that's not fun because I have a terrible history of periods. So that was like a little triggering to feel like a cramp. And I was like, that's very uncomfortable. Not like that it was hurting that bad, but just like that sensation. So it only lasted like 10 seconds or so and then would like go away. And they became pretty consistent, so I figured like, oh, this is probably Braxton Hicks. And so that's all it really felt like, was like a mild, like not even period cramp, but like before I would get my period kind of cramp. So I'm using that as an opportunity to practice my hypnobirthing stuff to stay calm and not like tense up, because normally those pains are like an indication that I'm gonna have really bad pains from my period. So I'm trying to use that now as like preparation of like being able to handle contractions, or what I will be calling surges. So yeah, it's not that they're that painful, it's just the mental connection to having that kind of cramp is something I need to work on. But I have been working on it, and it has been getting a little bit better in that sense. I don't like cringe up every time I feel it now. I know I talked about getting varicose veins in my last update, so they've just been getting worse. Week 19, I think it was, I had to start changing things with my work. So normally I'm on my feet all day long, walking around all day, standing, like I was taking breaks like since being pregnant, like here and there to go get a snack or to rest for a few minutes, but nothing like super crazy. But at week 19, because the varicose veins started getting so bad, I knew that if I didn't rest them, it would just make them worse. And if they get worse, that's not great. And I still have like a ways to go. I'm not even in my 3rd trimester, so I'm trying to like really pace myself and really take it easy and take care of myself, so I don't have to, not necessarily be like bedridden, because I don't know if varicose veins can do that, but just so I stay like, all of that stays like under control and it doesn't get like to that extent. So I'm just trying to take it super easy. I had to start just working like the register so I could sit down in like our office chair. And that helps a lot when I'm not just like walking around constantly. So they are still pretty bad. I mean, they're not really gonna go away, and they're not gonna get any better while I'm still pregnant. And they're probably gonna get a little bit worse, but I'm trying to do all of the stuff that I can do to keep them from getting like that bad. So I am also been using the, oh, actually, I don't know if I have told you guys about this. I'm using the horse chestnut cream, which sounds really strange. I don't know if I've talked about this because my memory is also terrible, but this is good for varicose veins. This was recommended to me by one of my midwives. So I've been putting this on like twice a day, and that's been helping a little bit. But more than anything, it just helps to not be on my feet very much, which is something I'm not used to. So mentally, it's a little difficult to have to like accept that and feel like kind of useless at work. But it's something that I'm like dealing with and kind of like working through, because I'm not being useless. Like, I'm obviously like still doing, like, I'm ringing people up. People have to be checked out. So that's all I can do right now. And honestly, like, all the stuff that I've been feeling, like, it's amazing that I'm still working at this point, but I'll touch on that in a minute. Week 20, round ligament pain started getting a little bit worse. I've had it since week like 17, but it's just been like a constant ache, like below, I can't even show you, like below my stomach and going like kind of up this side, but it hasn't been like debilitating or anything like that. So just getting a little bit worse, but I figured it was just from like stretching and all of that stuff. I started getting sciatic pain like every day, and it was getting hard to tell if my leg was hurting from the varicose veins, because it's worse on my right leg, or if it was the sciatic pain, which also goes down the right leg. So it was kind of hard to tell, but sciatic pain like every single day. If you've had sciatica, you know that pain is like so awful, because it's not just like a constant ache. It is like, it's just sharp and so sudden. It's like, oh God, I can't move. It's like debilitating if you've had sciatica before. Week 21, which was last week, this is where it started to really kick up with the pain. Again, I'm not saying all this stuff to like complain. I just am sharing what I'm feeling, because I think it's interesting for other pregnant people, or people that are going to be pregnant, or people who are just curious to like know. So I think it's interesting to hear about, and if you think it's just complaining, then you probably shouldn't watch these. But last week I started getting much worse round ligament pain, like so much worse, so bad. It felt like my abs were like sore, and it got hard, not necessarily my abs, but just like all down here was like hard to use. So I would have to like really get help to like get in and out of bed, because that would like make it hurt. And trying to bend and do stuff like that would make it hurt more. And I was like, oh, that's annoying. And it was definitely getting a lot more painful. And then one night while I was sleeping, I went to turn over, and it felt like that ligament like cramped up. I don't know if that's possible at all, but that's just what it felt like. And then ever since then, my whole stomach, like the whole thing, has been like so sore. It feels like I did like a million crunches with never having used abs before. Like, it feels so bad, and it is so painful. So it's been really difficult to like move or do anything. So that's been a challenge for sure. I've been taking some Tylenol when I need it. It's definitely getting like a little bit better, but the day after that like thing like cramped up, or whatever happened to it, was awful. And the past couple days it's been getting a little bit better, but it's still like very sore. I have to have help like getting in and out of the bathtub, getting in and out of bed sometimes. Like, it is rough. So anytime I have to use my stomach muscles, like it just, my whole stomach just feels exhausted. And it is so like, it just feels like a super sore muscle, honestly. And even before that, I explained it as round ligament pain for me feels like a pulled muscle that like when it gets aggravated, like that's what it feels like, and it just doesn't like go away like pulled muscles normally do. But this is like next level. It feels like my stomach got ran over by a truck. So I'm trying to use this for good like preparation for birth. So anytime it's hurting a lot, I'm just trying to like release any tension in my body and breathe and try to like relax and not tense up more because of the pain. And I think that's probably going to help me in the long run. So hopefully this won't last up until I go into labor, but it is giving me good practice for my birthing techniques anyway. So that's a plus. And even with all of the pain and all of that stuff, I'm still not like, it's not really affecting me too much like emotionally. There's been a couple times where I've just been in so much pain I just start crying because it hurts so bad. But other than that, like generally I'm not in a bad place like mentally or emotionally. Like I'm doing good in that sense. I think my biggest thing is I just can't do much. And so that is more like mentally challenging than the pain itself. It's just very defeating not being able to clean my room or go about a normal work day. So this week, with the intense and very severe round ligament pain, I've barely been able to move at work. So I've had to like move the bags to where I can just grab them because they're normally in like a little pocket like down below the register, and you have to bend down to get it. Can't do that. And I'm sitting in a chair most of the day anyway because of all of the other stuff. So I can't bend down there super far anyway, but I was able to like kind of reach down to grab a bag. But now with this like pain, it's so bad. I've just been getting people to put them up on the counter, like off to the side, so I can just grab one, because anytime I try to bend or move, it just feels such like a sharp pain and is like no go, not great. So between the round ligament pain, the sciatic pain, the varicose veins, I feel like I can barely do anything. So I have to remind myself like it's a big accomplishment that I'm still working full time and dealing with all of that at the same time. So like creating a baby and like housing a baby takes so much out of you in general, physically, mentally, whatever, that I'm trying not to be too hard on myself because I'm doing so much by just existing. I'm doing so much to like create this baby that it's not like I'm not doing anything. So even when feel like I'm being lazy or I feel bad for not being able to do more, I'm like, I'm doing so much by just existing. So the fact that I'm still going to work full time is something to not just like be proud of, because even if I wasn't doing that, I would be proud of like creating life, but it's something to like not take lightly. And after talking to my midwife, she put me on a low work order just so I could like really make sure I take that seriously, which I definitely am. So after I heard that, I was like, okay, yeah, it's not just me feeling like, oh, I have to like take a step back and, you know, rest more. It's like, okay, I've been directed by my care provider to take it very easy. So I don't want to do anything to endanger not being able to go to my birth center and have to go to like a hospital, because that just sounds like the worst thing to me, honestly. But I'll talk more about that in the video of why I'm going with an unmedicated birth. So yeah, I think that's about it. That's the most like mentally challenging thing, is not being able to do much. Talking about cravings, I haven't had any cravings in a very long time, but generally I just want more healthy foods. Like I'll add like flaxseed to stuff, or like nuts to stuff, or just get like extra nutrition somewhere. So I've generally been wanting like very healthy stuff, which is great because I did not want that in my first trimester at all. So yeah, I've been having a lot of oatmeal with lots of fruit, flaxseed, and I still haven't been wanting a ton of sugar. So I'll just put like a little bit of brown sugar or maple syrup, but not even like that much. Or I'll make pancakes with like putting flaxseed on them, and fruit, just like getting as much nutrition in as I feel like I possibly can. Having lots of salads. I'm still having like sandwiches, but I always like heat up the meat and I have like lots of veggies on them. Lots of smoothies. I'm using the Vital Proteins, I think it is, collagen powder. I've heard that collagen can be beneficial for varicose veins anyway. So I've been trying to add that into smoothies. So generally just having like a good set of like healthier foods. So that's been good. I need something to give me energy because with all of the pains and stuff that I'm dealing with, I can't really sleep very well because yeah, it's hard to move around so much at night and I can't stay in one position for that long. So I have to move, but I'm in so much pain that it hurts so much to move. I think that's about it. I'm gonna go grab my ultrasound pictures to show you guys because I just remembered that I never did that in the video of when we actually had our scan done. So I'm actually gonna go ahead and show you guys my belly before I get back down here because that's a whole task. So here is what she's looking like. Definitely popping. I'm not necessarily feeling like super huge because the only place I'm really getting bigger is like my stomach. So that's what she's looking like right now. Here we go. So here is the first picture. That is her nose right there, and that's like her mouth. So it's taken from like that angle. So this is literally the only picture we got of her face, or anywhere close to her face. So we have to go back because that's the only picture they got of her face and they can't complete it until they see everything. So there's that. This is like my favorite picture and I don't know why. It's literally just her little hands. So there's her little fist right there. How cute is that? And that's her little hands balled up right there. So cute. So that's like where she was laying, and she had her hands like up near her head, so we couldn't actually ever see her head, but her sweet little hands. This is just another one of her other hand, but it just like focused more on the other one. That's all though. Here are her little arms. So there's one arm, the other one. All we have are like limb pictures because they couldn't see her face. So that's the only pictures that we have, but I think they're still cute. And I'm just happy to have some. So here are her little feet. It's kind of hard to see, but there's one foot, the other one. They're just like stacked on top of each other. So there's her feet. And then last one is just her little legs. There's one leg. There's the other one. I know they're not very impressive and they're not super cool or anything, but that's all we got, so that's fine with me. These are the only ultrasound pictures we will probably have, except for when I go in to get a picture of like her face. But yeah, that's all we get. So I think that is about all. That's all I have written down. So I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.